only if I push him will he do it. He hasn't driven in 2 years, hasn't ridden his bike in a year and a half. He used to play guitar. He was a fabulous guitar player. Doesn't play guitar anymore. I guess the main thing for me is that he's sweet and he's kind. And I don't know where we're going with this. The doctor says maybe the next thing is swallowing. I don't know. I watch him carefully. That's all I can do. He's social. I'm lucky there. So.
I'm Lori, and my husband Tom was just diagnosed with BVFTD. He's 55, so very young, I feel. It's total shock, although now going back and looking at the symptoms over the last probably 5 years, it's apparent that he was, losing his ability. He has a stuttering and/or he'll speak in partial sentences. But his behavior changed pretty drastically within the last 6 months. We almost were in 2 car accidents, so he has some slow motor skill function. And so the doctor here at UCSF has said no driving, so we're in the process of getting rid of his car and figuring that out. But this is all new to me, and we just found out we just were here last week, so I'm just trying to figure out what to do when, and I'm just scrambling. I went to Alzheimer's Association first, and of course they're like, get control of your finances, get power of attorney, do all this, and I'm doing that, right? I'm trying to do all that, as well as just figure out the whole medical process. They say he's at the mild stage. He's highly functional. In fact, if anything, that's my concern, is he just takes off and he has no inhibitions. He talks to anybody and everybody, and he's attached to his phone. And it's hard because I don't know what else he's doing with the phone. He's also had some purchases that are really odd, and I'm scared half to death, because he just buys quantity of things, or he'll say to me, oh, we need X, and he wants to leave, and I'll go, oh, we're gonna go so-and-so. So I'm learning a whole new way of communicating with him. But to your point, he's actually become really complacent. He used to be very anal about things, and he's kind of just become very nice to be around, and I like that. But I too am trying to figure out, I'm working 2 days a week. So far I've just been leaving him, but I now don't feel confident at all about leaving him. So I'm reaching out to my church and to close friends just to see if I can get someone to check in on him. I know his eating has changed. Like sometimes he won't eat all day, and I'm also noticing that he's eating a lot of sugar. Loves his sweets, and so the doctor said, get that out of the house. So. And I don't know, there's just so many things. I'm all over the place, so I don't know what else to share, but...
We went through a number of caregivers, and I came home one day. Jay still thinks he can do everything he was able to, and he was really handy. He built an addition on our house when he was younger. He really could do everything. So I came home from my volunteer job, and I walked in the house. He's usually sitting there watching television, and he wasn't there, and the caregiver wasn't there. And I went back, Jay, and I'm calling him, and I go outside, and he had climbed a ladder up to the roof of a shed. Now we have 2 sheds by each other. One is very solid, and one, I think if Megan stood on it, she would fall through. That's the one he was on. Where in the hell was his caregiver? She was in the bathroom, and she came out and she said, well, I told him not to climb up there. I'm like, okay. So I called, and we got rid of her and got a man. And then my friend came over, and we hid the ladder. And I've had to hide quite a few things. But he doesn't know, when last night he had an accident, and it took about 20-25 minutes to convince him to get undressed and take a shower, because he changed his underwear but put all his other clothes back on. And I said, no, you've got to take a shower. So and he gets very, very belligerent. Hygiene, he used to shower every single day. Hygiene is out the door right now, totally gone. So I finally got him to take his clothes off and change, and we brought him into the kitchen, and my sister-in-law stuck him in the laundry, and this morning we realized that his wallet had gone through with everything that he has in it. So, he's a little agitated about that, but the one thing I've learned in my other caregiving class is to distract, and agree with him. He was really mad. I could have said, well, you should have taken it out of your pocket. But I said, you know what? I am so sorry. Totally my fault. I put it in the laundry. I didn't check. I'm going to buy you a new wallet this morning. Is that okay? He goes, yeah, I need a new wallet anyway. I said, okay, we'll go out before we get down to Meg's, we'll buy you a wallet. And the other thing that I've learned that is helpful, there's no logic there anymore. And when they say things, it's not what they mean. They're speaking from feelings and from their gut. And that's the hardest thing for me after 47 years, to not use logic when I'm talking to him. I'm still learning what the gut is. When he comes down with his suitcase and his CPAP, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he said, well, aren't we going home? We are home. Well, no, I mean to the other house. We only have one house. This is our house. No, we have the other house. And I said, and it's like, do you agree with them and say, yeah, we have another house, but we're not going, or we sold. I mean, there's just situations that I don't know what to do. And so I unpack his bag, which has magazines and towels in it. No clothes, nothing else. And I call it his cosmetic bag, which has like maybe 15 razors in it, and his hearing aid batteries and nothing else. And then we'll go out and we'll run errands and we'll do something else, and he'll be fine. I get very nervous leaving him alone also. I don't think he's going to wander anymore, but I always make sure he has his phone with him, just in case. And the hardest thing for me is the apathy. It is like living alone.
My first time here, I didn't speak because I had these emotions of, there are other people going through this, because I didn't fit in the regular Alzheimer's group. I was overwhelmed by that, and also overwhelmed by people who are farther down the journey. What this is looking like, which I didn't want to look at or couldn't look at. And I find that too, I would sit in the group and I'd hear from people who were, say, 10 years, 7 years, 8 years into it, and they had this wisdom and this calm and this strength, and I was falling apart. And I thought, how did you get there? And for me, what I'm finding is that it's a up and down and back and forth. And I don't seem to go back as far each time. And then that action, whatever I can do to regain some sort of control over a system or a situation that's out of control, makes me feel better. Whether it's taking over the finances or writing many emails to doctors, you must listen. And then depending on the situation now, it was trying to get some help for us. I had heard about the cost of assisted living or memory care and knew that we can't do that. How are we going to be together 24/7? What if something happens to me? And so I just started making phone calls to people, an organization called Helping Hands, a local hospital, emails. And so finally this daycare center opened up I didn't know about. And we had to get a doctor referral, went there, and she said, about the cost. And I said, even that I can't quite figuring out how we're going to do. And she said, we have grant money. We don't want you to worry about that. And I started bawling again. And so what I guess what I'm saying is that anytime you can take an action that is a search for a solution to help yourself or to help your partner, it makes you feel better. It's the inaction. It's when I was laying around crying that I was at my worst.
In light of what you're talking about with your daughters, I've gotten to the point where I absolutely hate this disease for a lot of reasons, but one of the things that
Me
I
too.
really, and I did not expect this, but one of the things that really has me probably the most emotional is what the relationship that Mike and I now have has done to our daughters, because I feel the pull away. I know there's a pull away from him by both of them, but I also feel it being pulled away from me. And I don't want them to know, but I feel the emptiness. That
Why don't
this
you want them to
disease,
know that?
I want their lives to go on the way they want their lives to go on.
Because you don't have your husband to provide these things, things like, just embracing
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and just comforting you.
Yeah.
You kind of hope to get that from the other people in your family that you love so much, and you realize that they can't really provide that,
No,
because they
that's
have
true.
their own lives. They
That's
have
true.
their own families and kids,
And you want him to have that.
and you want them to have it, but you feel
Yeah.
like you're missing out on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And there's
that's
that
very
too.
that's very something I'm very aware of. I feel like I physically miss being comforted, being held.
Or making a decision.
Right,
You know?
taking the burden off you of, let's talk it out and
Yeah,
figure this
yeah,
out together.
yeah.
Yeah.
To get back to the original statement, I hate this disease for a lot of reasons, but the one I really hate is what it
Right now,
does to
this
the
is-
relationships
Oh, sure.
around you, where you just kind of go, wait.
That's why we come to support group, because each of us gets it. We understand because we've felt that.
Yeah.
We're, you're talking about a feeling that, yes, I have felt that. Thank you for putting it into words, because I've also felt that way.
Gosh, it just-
And it's comforting to know that, that I'm not strange, I'm not
No, you're not.
weird for
You're not
feeling
strange.
that way.